What's up, gang? It's your boy, Cigarette Bynum. Anyway, I'm sick. I'm gonna do the 1 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour, because it's the only way I can get myself to start a new piece of music anymore. Anyway, today we're gonna be doing the Faure Nocturne in B minor, number 13. And now we're gonna start with 1 minute. Okay, so I'm just basically sight reading it here. And I really love this nocturne. I think it feels very important in a way, like the world is built immediately upon the first note. And I really care about the counterpoint in it. So it made, I don't know, I'll talk more about this later. You guys get it. Okay. Shit, that kind of startled me. Okay, that's a minute. Okay, so now we're gonna do 10 minutes. And there you go. Okay, so part of what was like really messing me up here, I know like you're watching me on the screen, so I'm gonna have to explain the notes I'm playing. But there's this part in the right hand that goes, and that's played with finger 2 and 3, and the next notes are these two, and that's the 2 and 3 as well. The next note is a C below, so this is D and E, and then C while you hold the E. So the D is no longer held. I'll do it all very exaggerated. So you obviously wouldn't play it that way. Now the tricky part is that now your finger 3 is on E, finger 1 is on C, but you've got this really awkward F sharp to A and E above, and that doesn't really work if you want to do this fingering, which would, you can't see me, would be 4 to then 3 and 5. Like you can kind of force it, but it's awkward. But then to do it like correctly, and I'm using big air quotes there, in the way that like to me got the sound I wanted, it was about 10 times harder, where I'll do 2, 3, 1 and 3, switch to 2 on the E silently, and then 3 on the F sharp, and then land on 2 and 5 on the E and A, and then 3 on F sharp, and then 4 on G, and then you're back to 5 and 3. But that, for whatever reason, putting those hands together just really fucked me up. Oh yeah, and the left hand's all fucked up. So I'm doing it like you're on 2 and 4 on A and C, and then moves to, and A is held, to B on 1, so 4, 1. And then the next note is a G, so that's 5. So you got 5 and 1 going on, and then 5 and 2, G and A, which if you're by a piano, try that. It just feels wonky. But that sets you up perfect to then do 4 on F sharp, 1 on B, 5 on E. So it's like you get your hand in a pretzel and then open it up, and it's like solving a little puzzle. Like it's when you untie a knot, that's what it feels like. When you untie a knot and it's suddenly just like, oh, it's done. Like when you get to you're done working really hard on untying it, and then suddenly it just unravels itself. That's how it feels in the hand. Like when you first start playing that, it's like, this shouldn't work, and then suddenly it works. But that's a good example of all the little things that matter so much to me in this, because it does, there's something about this work that just like, it like transports me in my brain, and I love it so much. It really is one of those like transcendental works where it is so much better than I could ever play it, even if you gave me a million years. And I love music like that, where I will never be happy with how I play it, so I can just play it for a long time, put it to the side, pick it back up. It's awesome. So I'm basically just drilling this section there, and I try and push forward a little bit towards the end. I don't know what I'm playing right now. You can probably hear. I don't know what to say anymore, but it's cool that the next part I land on the beeper. Check it out. It's done. Okay. Now let's see what 10 minutes sounds like, huh, folks? shouldn't have kept reading. I fucked up. Just realized I filmed the other videos in the wrong orientation. Whatever. Probably won't post this even. But an hour. Okay, so you might have been able to figure out, I don't plan anything when I make these videos. The like 3 times a year I do anything that's not just me improvising. But, and maybe one day I'll post the finished product, huh? Probably, don't get your hopes up. But the, so I don't know how long I have to talk. I cut this down so the video is under 25 minutes. That's too fucking long anyway. But, so I don't know how long I have right now. It's an hour there. I doubled the speed, and I went through and just made random cuts and didn't pay attention. So I'm going to just kind of start talking, and I'm going to keep an eye on this, and when I get close to the end, I'll just shut the fuck up, and you'll get to hear the rest. So I'll talk a little bit more about this. I have some interpretational issues with this. I don't know what to do, because there's very clear dynamic markings in the score. Like right here, where it goes... That's what he wrote. It's a diminuendo into here. But for me, I think it sounds, hey, I might change my mind. And also, like, who am I? You know, that kind of thing. But also, I think that's a very pompous and pretentious ass way to look at any art. Who are you? You're the person interpreting the music. You're the one looking at the painting, seeing what you felt about it. They're not there. They left everything on the page for you to move your brain to where you want to go with it. I phrased that dumb, but I think my point came across. I think it sounds nice because you have this sudden mezzo forte with the... Like, I kind of like... I don't want it to die so quick. I'm okay with... I view it sort of as, like, waves, like, coming through, like, over rocks or something. Like, you've got those little moments where, like, maybe you're following a leaf down a babbling brook, and it goes through a tree trunk draped over the water where it creates a little vortex, and you have this kind of feeling. That's how I view the dynamics in this, because you have these... Like, I really, really think that, like, makes the most sense. Maybe I'm fucking talking out of my ass. I have no idea. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Call me an idiot. However, I think that does make sense, especially if you go to the next one when you have... If you create those very detached, and that's also kind of against... I don't know, I haven't heard anyone play it that way. Let's move on. I'm going to talk about some other technical difficulties I had with this. And actually interpretational. Technical is boring as shit. So this section... Oh. So I'm still playing with what I'm going to do here, and it by the time I finish it, I'll probably have a decision. I think there's 2 things that sound cool in music. I think it's really awesome when you can find like little things of it. You know what I mean? Like, did that make sense? Where it kind of like you're gonna sneak in extra notes that kind of hover a little bit longer, then suddenly you have this it's like the air gets sucked out of the room a little bit and you're left with this harmony. And I think you can do something like that here, where it's a little crunchy, but it's really hard to land exactly how I want, because that's really hard. Where is it? There we go. Too much, but you can hear more of the ghost notes. That's more what I'm getting at, though. There's where you have the kind of... There's a moment of that in a Bach piece. Hang on, I'm going to do that after this. I'm going to do that right here. Hang on. Pause. You don't have to pause. I'll pause. I'm going to go very quick because I don't know how much time I have. But this is from Bach's Prelude, from Prelude and Fugue, Book 1, E flat minor, the enharmonic one. That kind of moment. I'm going to show you one more. This is from the Bach Busoni. It's the Prelude and Fugue in E flat major for organ, the St. Anne BWV 552. And I haven't practiced this in a little bit, so forgive me if I screw this up. But it's those two right here, though. You can sneak in that F. I love that shit so much. Sneak it into the pedal. And you've got this kind of like, it's all the notes in the harmonic series. Not all the notes in the harmonic series, but it's like you get the harmonic series going on over it. What's that word? What are those? The overtones. Jesus Christ. But that's what, like, I feel like it just amplifies the hell out of those, and they feel so angelic in those moments. Ugh, there's like nothing more beautiful than that, and that's not what Faure is doing in the Nocturne. But I think it's an interesting thing because it's highlighting something. You've got this odd, huge key change. You're setting yourself up to go from here back to B minor. The fuck? We're gonna go to C minor 7. The fuck? And then that's gonna switch immediately. Huh? What is this? Okay. What are we in now? E major? Huh? No, not E major. E minor? Definitely E minor. Yeah, that makes sense. Huh? No, it doesn't. Don't know where the fuck I am. But I think those moments need to be highlighted. And if it's like in this one, in the Bach Busoni, there's a crescendo written there. I think that's wrong. Because if you, sure, that's powerful as hell. You've got that big feeling. In front of me anymore, but it feels huge and it feels important, and that's awesome. But I think it's wrong because I can't remember what pianist said this, but sometimes the best crescendo you can do is a massive pianissimo, and that's, oh my god, there's moments that couldn't be more true. And I think the argument they made is that forte doesn't always mean more loud; it means more exciting. And what's more exciting? I mean, to me, the answer is clear. But like I said, the painter's not there. They left their work there for you to interpret. Do your job. So you do your job here. What's better, A or B? And yeah, I might have played it a little bit better on both chords on those. But that moment's really powerful to me. It's really special. And this is all just on the first fucking page. This is such an interesting nocturne. I didn't even get to the like really interesting stuff that goes on later. I mean, suddenly we've got this big G sharp minor thing that you start running all over the piano, and it's got an interesting melody, and it weaves through like 12 different keys again. That's how many there are. But it's just such a cool piece of music, and I hope I do finish this one up and post a recording. I'd be happy to do that. I'm going to move on to the next section, talking-wise, because I'm sure I'm getting close to there, and I have no idea how much longer I have to fill with this stupid me talking bit. But when you get to the F sharp minor section, which comes just for if you've never heard this piece before, and I'm referencing points that you might not be aware of, but you'll hear it later on, I guess. So maybe to give you context in a bit. But you've got this part. Heads up, I do fuck that up in the recording too. But that moment is another one. Sorry for playing that so poorly and foreshadowing to what you're going to hear in a bit. This part's a little tricky. I'll explain why it's tricky really quick. It's a bunch of interlocking patterns that don't naturally fit the hand. This does. But then you've got this kind of walking bass thing. It's not a walking bass at all. But you've got this stepwise motion where it goes. And then again. But it just, the position that your hands ends up in is a little bit awkward. And I practice this. Like that. It's just a little trick if you ever want to have one note ring out more when you play it for real. But you get... That's exaggerated for you. But that's how you do that. And then when you play it normal... You get a little bit of emphasis. Boring. I think there's another instance where I might go against what he says here, because I think you do have a natural build. You have this, and I like that he does decrescendo into this, because you've got... But that forte, I think, comes to measure early. I think it should be a little bit later when you get to the octave. Because if it comes here, this is kind of, you're building this kind of spooky thing. You've got... And let that be kind of the babbling brook again. Oh, we had smooth sailing there for a little bit. This is nice. The harmonies make sense for once. Kinda... We're getting somewhere. We've got this shit. But anyway, I think you're smooth sailing for a little bit. You're that leaf. Close your eyes. Take 5 deep breaths. You're a leaf. You're floating down the river. What do you see next to you? A caterpillar on another leaf. That guy might not make it. They might flip over. Caterpillars can't swim. Hate to break it to you. Wake up and smell the coffee, folks. Be an adult. Anyway, we're going to hit another series of rocks. We're going through some whitewater rafting, and we're a little leaf. But to subdue us and really have that hit, you kind of have to have that... Oh yeah, that's so good. Okay, I'm about to actually run out of time. I just love this piece of music so much. And there is something water related to it. There is something like deeply depression related to it. It just, I could re-record this whole thing right now and say none of the same stuff I just said and still fill this time. I love this work a lot. And I don't know, if you actually listen to this, awesome. If not, that's fine too. You're not going to hear me say any of that. But anyway. Okay, let's see if I fucking learned anything. Don't need this anymore. Hey! Let's go. little flubs. Happy with it.